What's up, YouTube? Dark God back again. Final day of the Academy Awards breakdown and predictions. Today's Best Picture, 8 nominees. Going to get right into it. Uh, the Academy Awards are actually probably about 3 or 4 days away from now, so I'm interested to see everybody else's reviews. And as close as it is, things could always change. Like, there always seems to be a big push and everything right towards the end, where film kind of gets some momentum for whatever reason on social media or something. I know the voting's already in, but you kind of hear like which pictures are like jumping ahead of the pack. And this year I do think that there's a couple obvious pictures, and there's a couple movies that are nominated. I really don't think, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be nominated, because I think all the movies nominated were good movies. I just think there's some that aren't at the same level as the other movies that are nominated. And I think that there's a lot of movies that are I think this is actually a really weak year in the Best Picture. The only thing I do like is that ever since the Academy went to the 5 and above for nominations for Best Picture, I do like that you're getting more films that have a potential of winning the Best Picture. I think the max is 10 now. I think it's been like that for about 4 years, but it's good to see. When it was always 5, it was kind of like you had a lot more movies that people felt should have been nominated that were kind of slept on. But it's better now that it's the more. But this year, I think they probably could have done with 5. There's a couple that were just nominated, and I just feel like they were just nominated for, I don't know, for whatever reason. So getting into it, right off the bat, A Star is Born. Bradley Cooper's movie about a drunk alcoholic country rock singer who meets this woman who, he realizes that she's a good writer, a good songwriter. She has a good voice and everything. Basically gives her a career and a platform. She goes on to bigger and better things, and it's their relationship and their life together and everything. Real good film. Gut punch of an ending. I mean, it gets pretty brutal there and everything towards the end. Just the way his life goes from like being happy-go-lucky in the beginning to just miserable at the end. I think it's a good film, and I think it's a film that's more held up with the acting performances than anything else. The writing is pretty good for it. I do think, it just, to me, it doesn't, I know it's like a film that like the Academy loves because it's got that like realistic view of, Hollywood, except like more like the music side of Hollywood. And, it does have a woman crossing over. So like that's something that like the Academy loves. I do think it has a shot at winning. I do think like, because like this falls into like the same categories like films like La La Land, and even though that didn't win, and The Artist, which did win, that Hollywood likes when it's skewed, or it's the focus of a film. And like I said, I know it's not directly Hollywood, but it's just the music medium in general. So I do think that is a good shot of winning. Second film is Black Panther. Now, I like Black Panther. I'm a comic book fan. I don't think Black Panther was the best Marvel movie released last year, so I really don't think it was the best picture of all. I think Avengers Infinity War was better. I just think that had more going into it, that had a better storyline. Like, I dug Black Panther. I thought it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be going into it, but I just don't see it as like the top film. I don't see it as best picture material. I like I said, I think Avengers Infinity War was better, especially because you got 10 years of build up to get to that point in that movie, and the fact that it was able to pull that all together and actually have a coherent storyline and everything. I just think a lot of people got into the Black Panther hype of how good it was, and it is a good movie, but again, I don't even think it was the best film from Marvel release, so I really don't think it's best picture material. Next, you have Bohemian Rhapsody, which again is a film that's like kind of like, it's more about the acting in it than the actual film. Like, the storyline is, everybody should know the storyline. Like, going into it, you knew Bohemian Rhapsody storyline, and like when I heard there was a movie made, I said there's going to be a scene in Live Aid, because that's Queen's most famous time. And of course you get that, and that's probably the best scene in the film, just like the breakdown of how amazing that concert was and everything. But again, Bohemian Rhapsody, like, I liked it, but I don't think it was like anything groundbreaking. I don't think it's like a best picture movie where like it's one of the, like, I don't think it's the best picture of the year. I wouldn't even put it in my top 5. Probably want to put it in my top 10 of best pictures. I think there's a lot of movies that were better than it. I think Black Panther is actually a better film than Bohemian Rhapsody. And Black Panther, I don't even think should be on the list. So Bohemian Rhapsody was good for one thing, and that was Rami Malek. And it's again, first of all, it shouldn't even get any nominations, because it's attached to Bryan Singer, and Bryan Singer shouldn't get anything in Hollywood at all. Bryan Singer shouldn't even be allowed to work in Hollywood, but of course he does, and everything's forgotten. And I just don't think Bohemian Rhapsody should have any it shouldn't be on any awards where he's anything nominated with it. Next, you have Green Book, which was a movie. Like I said, going in the reviews about the two actors, Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen. Both I love as actors. Like Mahershala Ali is my favorite actor on the planet right now, and I wanted to see for that reason. I didn't think I was gonna like the film as much as I did, and I think it's very underrated because you don't hear much mention of it outside of the acting. That's a problem I have, where the other films are the ones that I don't like how the acting is. This is a film I like how the acting is, and I'm sorry, flip it. The other films I'm all about the acting and not the film. This was the reverse, where even though I did like the acting, it was the film I wasn't expecting to be as good, and lo and behold, it is. And I mean, I'm not hearing a lot of people sing its praises, but it is a really good film because, I mean, you get that straightforward storyline of just this guy who's, he's not a bad person, but he's not a good person either. And by the end of the film, he's this loving, caring man. And, it just, is it truthful? Who knows, how much of it was fabricated, how much of it was added to. It just felt like a wholesome storyline. And to me, that's something that's needed in film. Like, not saying you can't have a vicious storyline or a brutal storyline like A Star Is Born, but you don't get all those good storylines anymore. And that's one thing you get in Green Book. And I don't know, I think it stuck out, but I'm not hearing enough other people sing the praise. Everybody says, oh, Mahershala Ali was good or Viggo Mortensen was good. And that's all you get from it. Next is Blakkkklansman, which Spike Lee directed, which, I mean, for me, Blakkkklansman was a great film. It just, everything about it. Adam Driver's amazing in it. Washington's amazing in it. Topher Grace is even good in it. Just everybody really does their part. Everybody really, when they get their chance to shine, they do. Everybody takes their spots. Everybody gets their part of the film where they stick out and everything. And it's done really well. And I mean, I'm a fan of Spike Lee. There's a gap there where I don't think he was as good as he used to be. This is back to where he used to be. This is to Malcolm X or Do the Right Thing level, I believe. So it's good to see him back at that level of directing. I don't know if they'll give it to a movie that has so much comedy in it. You hear them say, oh, La La Land was a comedy. La La Land was very lighthearted. Blakkkklansman, even though it has lighthearted moments, isn't a lighthearted film. It's similar, this is similar to Vice and The Favorite, where they're not like comedies. They have lighthearted moments, but they're pretty brutal films at the same time. And, I hope that doesn't hurt it, because I think Blakkkklansman might be the best movie that out of these 8 films. I think Blakkkklansman might be the best film. That's not to say that it'll win Best Picture, because the Academy votes how they want to vote. But to me, I think out of all the 8 films, it was probably, if not the best, it was in the upper echelon of them. Roma is a peculiar movie for me because I think it's really good. But the thing I think it's best about it is the cinematography. And you get that stark black and white contrast and everything, and you get the sound effect and the sound mixing, which I think that it's a front runner for those awards. But for Best Picture, I mean, it's a very mundane film. It just is a person's life, and it's a rough life at times. But to me, it's just not a film that it resonates as the best picture. To me, it's a film that resonates as the best of all the scientific stuff of filmmaking. The cinematography is the best cinematography in all these awards. Just how everything is shot and how everything is just portrayed. It just feels like I read a story that they wanted the camera to feel like you were just eavesdropping on everything. And that's what it is. It just feels like you're there watching life unfold around you. Everything's moving at the speed of life, and people come in and out of the scenes, and everything just goes how you would view life. And I think for that merit, it's up there. But I don't think it's Best Picture. I have a feeling the Academy looks at it as a Best Picture favorite because of just how good of a film it is. And it's, like I said, it's more the scientific stuff than the actual Best Picture. I don't think it should be the Best Picture. I think Blakkkklansman's a better movie. I think Roma's a better made film, though, if that makes sense. 7th, you have The Favorite, which is another kind of it's not as comedic as Blakkkklansman, but it has those lighthearted moments. I mean, it's hard to watch a film that talks about the monarchy in this, I believe it's 1600s, and make it relevant and make it fun, make it a good storyline. But I mean, you get it in here, it might be the 1700s, and it works, and the reason it works is because everybody acts really well in it. Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz, and Olivia Colman, all do like amazing jobs, and the supporting actors are all top notch as well. And it's a very good film, and I didn't see Killing of a Sacred Deer or The Lobster, but I hear that they're not in the same vein totally, but like that they're just as good of a movie. So now I want to go back and check them out to see how they are in contrast to this. But this could be like a dark horse film because I think it is up there. I think it's one of like, I think it's the upper echelon of these 8 films. Like it would be the top 4, I guess. And I do think it sticks out because it's led by 3 women that just act phenomenally well in it. And it makes what could be, if you're not a history buff, could be viewed as a boring storyline, makes it fun and everything, and it just works. And it's better than some of the other films. I do think it should have been nominated. Like, I do think it's in that echelon of films that should have been nominated. I don't know if I'll do enough to win, but it could be a dark horse. Final film is Vice. And Vice is kind of like the same way as The Favorite, where, got the nominations for actor, supporting actress, supporting actor. So it has the same amount of acting awards nominated as The Favorite, has a director award like The Favorite, and it just, it's a historical piece that kind of put a comedic spin on it. Like they're very similar in the structure of their films, except Vice took like more of a, I want to say like a joke on the viewer type. Like they do the scene with the credits like in the middle of the film and everything. Like you think that's the way it's going to end, and the movie opens up with the great line where it's Dick Cheney is one of the most secretive people on the planet and everything. So it's hard to make a movie about a guy that's secretive, but we did our fucking best. To me that's funny. Like, it brings you right into it. You have a subject matter that's not fun subject matter, and Adam McKay is just able to make a serious movie with very comedic overtones. I mean, throughout the film, like, out of all these movies, other than probably Blakkkklansman, this has the most comedic overtones. And I think it's like if I had to rank them, it would be probably around the 5th spot on my list. I think, like, if I had to rank them, I'm going Blakkkklansman 1, I'm going Green Book 2, Roma 3, probably The Favorite 4, Vice 5, A Star is Born 6, Black Panther 7, Bohemian Rhapsody 8. That's how I would rank the films, in my sense. Like, and that's not going with the Academy. That's like how I'd rank those films in best to worst. And that's not saying worst as like in a bad film, because I think Bohemian Rhapsody still is a good film. I don't think it was as good a film other biopics of years past. Like, I don't think it was better than Straight Outta Compton. I don't think it was better than Ray. I don't think it was better than Walk the Line. I think those films had more sustenance than Bohemian Rhapsody. So I'm going with, who do I think will win? Who do I think the Academy will vote? I have a feeling they're voting Roma in. I just have this feeling. I kind of wish they didn't, but I think they will. Who I want to win is Blakkkklansman. I think that's the best movie out of the rest mentioned. Dark horse for me is Green Book, and that's like, if Blakkkklansman doesn't win, I want Green Book to win, because to me those were like the 2 best films of the year of these 8 nominated. So I mean, that's it really. I can't wait to see who wins all these awards and everything. I'll probably end up doing a video either day of about other awards like the cinematography or the all the other production design, hair and makeup, whatever. But we'll see. And then Monday I'll probably do how'd I do kind of thing. And then Monday I'm probably going to start watching my horror films and cult movies and catch up on TV shows that I've been skipping for like the past month and everything. Just watching a bunch of Oscar nominated films. So until then, have a happy Oscar, and I'll catch you on the flip side.